What's up, everybody? My name is Wasim. I'm a student pilot currently living in Austin, Texas. And I've flown in a single engine airplane about 6 times now. And out of three of them, I've taken actual flight lessons here in Austin. And I wanted to supplement my in person training with some simulator training at home. So I noticed that Gleim, the aviation test prep company, makes this flight training course that works on top of X-Plane. I already had X-Plane 11. I've spent too much time playing it like a video game, but now I'm taking it seriously and using it as a proper training tool. And so basically, this flight training course will make you go through lessons within X-Plane and actually track your movements and what you do in the airplane and give you a report in the end to on the basis of the instructions of the flight lesson to let you know how you did. So this way I get some feedback on how I'm doing and get some practice at home as well instead of paying a lot of money to do it in real person. And in order to get more of that realism factor, I have an Oculus Rift S over here, and I also have my flight yoke over here. It's a joystick. I'm actually getting a real flight yoke and rudder pedals in the mail pretty soon because I noticed that twisting the joystick to do the rudder movements isn't quite the same as the real life experience where you have the rudder and the on the floor using the pedals. So I want to try to recreate as much of that real experience. And the difference between using a VR headset and just using your monitor to do the simulation is that with the VR headset, where you're looking within the airplane ends up mattering more, and this will help me teach good habits such as looking for VFR flight, visual flight rules, that I'm looking outside most of the times and not getting fixated on the instruments. So with that kind of stuff, having a VR headset gives me more of that, helps me instill those habits in a way that they might transfer better in real life. So I have the lesson noted over here. I'm gonna it's already here, so turn on my headset. Okay, let's see. So got my touch controller and I need my headphones. Okay, then I'm gonna hit resume flight. Okay, oh, way off. I'm outside of the airplane, so I'm gonna reset my view, um, raise my seat height, and in real life, then go get in pilot seat. Okay, so now I'm in the pilot seat and I want to adjust the seat height to be as low as I remember it in real life so that the way I see the horizon around me and the feeling of being in the cockpit and where I see the instruments in relation to the cockpit panel, all of that should be as close to real life as possible. Um, so my view is good now. I have my flight controls, and let's see what the briefing says. Okay, so I'm going to start off in the middle of the lesson. It's going to be a normal cruise. My throttle is probably going to be off when I get this going, and I'll just have to adjust it. And it looks like my heading indicator isn't set correctly. Let's see if I can fix that. It won't give me the feedback until I resume the simulator, so I might just have to do that in mid-flight. Okay. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Cruise climb to 3,000 feet.
Alright, it's asking me to cruise climb to 3,000 feet. That means an ascent of 5 to 700 feet per minute while maintaining cruise speed. So I need to increase throttle as well as pitch up and start climbing. I'm quite below cruise speed right now, so I added more throttle. Hopefully I should pick up some airspeed. And I'm at 2,900 feet. And
Level off from climb.
now I'm gonna begin my level off.
Return to normal cruise.
Okay, my climb is complete. I'm at 3,000 feet and I'm gonna begin my normal cruise. So I need to adjust my trim so that I have level flight, and I need to reduce my throttle to about 2,500 RPM.
Cruise descent to 2,500 feet.
Alright, I need to cruise descent to 2,500 feet. So that's gonna be a drop of 500 feet. I'm gonna reduce power down to 2,200 RPM. Alright, and I'm descending at about 600 feet per minute right now. It's beautiful out here. Okay, 2,600 feet. Pretty soon I need to level off.
Off-road descent.
Okay, leveling off. Gonna add some power to support the level off.
Return to normal cruise.
Okay, we're at 2,500 feet now, and I'm gonna return to normal cruise. I think I have a moment to adjust my
74 knots
heading
maintain
indicator.
altitude.
Okay. And maintain altitude. So I'm gonna pull back on the stick and reduce throttle so that I'm slowing down, but I'm able to maintain altitude. Okay, we're at 90 knots now. I'm starting to lose just a little bit of altitude, so I need to adjust for
Best
that.
rate climb to 3,000 feet.
Okay, best rate of climb to 3,000 feet. So I'm gonna add throttle and try to maintain 74 knots and climb up to 3,000 feet. Okay, getting a little too slow, so push the stick forward a little and right about there. So best rate of climb is the fastest way of It's the way of making the airplane ascend the fastest.
Begin level off from climb.
Okay, beginning a level off.
Return to normal cruise.
Alright, time to return to normal cruise speed. So I'm gonna be at 2500 RPM and adjust my trim so that I have level flight.
Turn left to west.
Okay, turn left to west. Make sure there's no other airplanes out there. Oh, it looks like I'm accidentally gaining altitude, so I need to adjust for that. Okay, I'm almost done with my turn.
Perform a power off descent at 68 knots to 2,500 feet.
Okay, perform a power off descent at 68 knots. Okay, so I kill the power. And I'm gonna descend to 2,500 feet. Okay, we're losing airspeed. I'm at 75 knots now. Okay, I'm at 68 knots. And I'm almost done with my descent.
Raise nose and slow to 62 knots.
Okay, raising
Best
nose.
angle climb to 3,000 feet.
Climbing up to 3,000 feet now.
Return to normal cruise.
Okay, returning to normal cruise, so 2,500 RPM and level flight. So if I'm not mistaken, the normal cruise speed on a Cessna 172
Climbing
is
return to
115 knots.
3,500 feet and
That's 130 miles per
135
hour. Okay, climbing right turn to north, 3,500 feet. think I turned a little too much.
Descending left turn to south at 2,500 feet at 115 knots.
Okay, descending turn. South 2,500 feet. At 115 knots. So I forgot to reduce the throttle, and because of that we've gained some airspeed. So I need to adjust for that. Okay, our turn is complete, but our descent needs to keep going.
Return to normal cruise.
Okay, returning to normal cruise.
Turn left to 150 to set up for pattern entry.
Left to 150. And we need to slow down to 90 knots.
Traffic pattern descent to 1,500 feet.
Traffic pattern descent to 1,500 feet. Still a little too fast. Okay, so we're now at 1,750 feet. Almost down to 1,500.
Maintain slow cruise at 90 knots, 2,300 RPM.
Okay, 2,300 RPM and slow cruise at 90 knots.
Turn right to 220 to enter the downwind at a 45-degree angle. to pattern entry.
All right, we've been warped to pattern entry.
Maintain heading, airspeed, and altitude.
Maintain heading, airspeed, and altitude. So we're at 90 knots, 1,500 feet, a little below 1,500, and headed towards the airport.
Turn right to 270 and join the left downwind leg.
Okay, so we can see the runway over here. We're gonna circle around to it.
Maintain 90 knots and pattern altitude.
Okay, maintaining 90 knots. And pattern altitude.
Reduce power to 1,700 RPM.
Reducing power to 1,700 RPM.
Touchdown point. Apply 10 degrees of flaps. Lower the nose to descend and maintain 80 knots.
Applying 10 degrees of flaps. And lowering to maintain 80 knots.
You are 45 degrees from end of runway. Turn onto base leg and continue descent.
I think we're getting a little too low. Gonna add some power.
Level wings. Deploy 20 degrees of flaps and maintain 75 knots.
20 degrees of flaps. And 75 knots.
Turn onto final leg.
Turning onto the final leg.
Level wings. Apply full flaps and pitch for 70 knots.
Full flaps. Aiming for 70 knots and approaching the runway.
Reduce power as needed to maintain a stable descent at 65 knots.
Perfect, we're at 65 knots. and descending. I think we're a little too high right now, so I'm going to reduce power and descend a bit more.
Begin reducing power to idle and shallowing descent. Round out.
Here we go.
Flare. Hold nose off runway and maintain directional control with rudder.
That was a terrible landing.
Speed. Adjust power as needed and use brake to slow airplane to prepare for turn off runway.
I think I might have damaged the tires over there.
Stop airplane when clear of runway. End of lesson.
All right. That was stressful.
Okay, let's see how I did. So I can just go and click view report. And it looks like I had 1 minute and 45 seconds of infraction time. So this is also on the basis of how my actual test for the pilot license will be assessed. And so it holds me to the same standard as the FAA pilot license test. So I got looks like a 78%. Um, there's a lot of infractions and minor mistakes I made, but with practice, I can improve all of these things. And this is why I have the simulator in addition to real instruction from my instructor at Austin Bergstrom. And that's it.